So finally, the AMP-63 has been added into Warzone and we can now do the challenge to actually unlock this gun. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare it to the Diamatti pistols as well as the SYKOVs to let you know which are the best akimbo weapons to use in Warzone. If you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons and overall tips and tricks for Warzone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and also click that link in the description and subscribe to our second channel. We do post extra content over there as well. So like I said, this video is all about the AMP-63, and to unlock this gun you need to eliminate 5 enemies in 20 different matches using a pistol. Now you can use any pistol you want, it can be a Cold War or a Modern Warfare one. I would highly recommend either Diamatti pistols or the SYKOV, and what I would do is go into Plunder, kill 5 enemies, leave the match, restart and do it all over again. You need to do that 20 times, which is quite a lot of times for this gun considering it is a sidearm weapon. So it is quite a long challenge, but that is definitely by far and away the easiest way to do it. Another thing you can do is actually buy the Gravitizer blueprint from the store, and it comes with these following attachments. So you do actually get it in akimbo and you do get the largest mag. So if you do want to run this gun in akimbo, you can just buy the blueprint. So I'm going to quickly go through the class setups that we use to compare all of these guns. So for the AMP-63, we used the agency suppressor, the task force barrel, the 5mm laser, the 25 round mags, which is the largest mags available for this gun, and then lastly the dual wield / akimbo attachment. For the SYKOVs, we run the monolithic suppressor, the full auto barrel, the 5mm laser, the 80 round drums, and the akimbo attachment. And then lastly, for the Diamatti pistols, we've done a very similar thing to what we did with the AMP-63, which is the agency suppressor, the task force barrel, the 5mm laser, the largest mags, which is the salvo 30 round fast mags, and then lastly the dual wield attachment as well. But now let's take a look into the overall handling stats for all 3 weapons. On screen just now you will see the handling stats for all 3 weapons, the AMP, the SYKOV and the Diamatti. And what you'll see is the AMP has a rate of fire of 681 rounds per minute for one single AMP pistol. Then you need to multiply that by 2 because of course you're running it in akimbo, so you get a rate of fire of 1,326. But as you can see, the SYKOV has the fastest rate of fire out of all 3 of these sidearm akimbo weapons at 1,788, and the Diamatti comes in at last place at 1,124 rounds per minute when you're running all of these in akimbo. Then for the tac sprint to fire times, which I believe is very important, because if you're tac sprinting a lot in this game or you have auto tac sprint turned on, you do want to know what the tac sprint to fire time would be, and it is definitely the quickest with the AMP-63. It does have that Cold War movement, so you are going to move a little bit quicker with the AMP, and then the Diamatti is not far behind, and the SYKOV is definitely the slowest. Then for the magazine size, again the SYKOV comes out on top here. A single SYKOV can have an 80 round mag, and then you times that by 2 to get 120 rounds. The AMP's largest magazine attachment is 25 rounds, and obviously multiplying that by 2 gives you 50 rounds, and the Diamatti is stuck at 60 rounds as well. Then for reload times, you would expect the AMP to have the fastest reload out of the bunch, considering that it does have the smallest magazine, but this is definitely not the case here. The reload time on the AMP is 1.2 seconds, and the Diamatti actually comes out on top at 1.08 seconds. So if you're looking at the fastest reloads, the Diamatti is definitely the fastest. And then overall movement, the SYKOV comes out the slowest, and the Diamatti's definitely the quickest, and then the AMP is in between both of those 2 weapons. So when it comes to overall handling stats, when it comes to tactical sprint to fire, that's the only time the AMP beats any of the other guns. Overall rate of fire, the SYKOV's going to take it, and then overall movement, the Diamatti pistols are going to be the quickest. So the AMP is not really doing very well when it comes to overall handling stats. So the next thing I want to show you is the TTK and the damage profiles for all 3 of these guns and compare them. But before I do that, I do want to mention that this is for the AMP-63 and akimbo. Most of the time, the single weapon has a different damage profile to the akimbo weapons, and that is just to make the overall akimbo guns balanced and not make them completely overpowered. So on screen just now, you will see the damage stats for the AMP-63, the SYKOV, and the Diamatti once again. As you can see, the AMP-63 has a headshot damage of 29, and that's whilst in akimbo. Then the chest shot damage is 23. For the SYKOV, it pretty much has a damage profile of 26 everywhere, and then the DIAMATTI pistol has the highest damage profile, a chest shot damage of 40, and then a headshot damage of 64. Then you can see the time to kill for all of these guns. If you're landing chest shots only, the AMP actually comes out at the slowest time to kill, which is actually quite weird because this gun doesn't really have much going for it in my opinion, and it also has the slowest time to kill. The SYKOV comes out on top with the quickest time to kill, and then the DIAMATTI comes in second place. Now, I do also want to mention that the AMP as well as the DIAMATTI both have headshot multipliers, but only the DIAMATTI reduces the TTK if you land a headshot. If you land a single headshot with the AMP, you still don't bring down that time to kill value, which is pretty insane. You need to actually land 2 headshots before it actually reduces your time to kill, and that is pretty hard to do with this gun. And considering these guns are not super accurate because they are an akimbo, it's going to be really hard to land multiple headshots with akimbo weapon. So this gun is definitely not overpowered by any means. And like I said, it's going to be really hard to land your shots with this gun overall, and I'll show you why right now. So what you'll see on screen just now is a recoil chart taken at a 5-meter distance, and this is the rough distance that you'll be actually taking gunfights with any 3 of these weapons. So we have the AMP on the very left, DIAMATTI pistols down the middle, and the SYKOV on the very right. And again, what you can see here is that the AMP has just the craziest recoil pattern. It's not grouped together in any way, shape or form, and like I said, this is done at a 5-meter distance, so you would expect the bullets to be a lot more clustered together. In my opinion, the SYKOVs come out on top here. They actually have the better recoil pattern, and then the AMP is just, the bullets are just so spread out that you can never land any shots with this gun. So if you were trying to use that headshot multiplier, it's not really going to work out well for you at all. Now, to summarize this gun and also give you a class setup as well, you don't want to be using this gun in akimbo. It's just not good whatsoever. It doesn't have the time to kill potential as the SYKOVs, and it doesn't even have the movement as the DIAMATTI pistols either. It's kind of somewhere in between, and if you like that, fair enough, but I don't think this gun is going to be a great option for when you're running Ghost unless you run a single gun. And that way you will get the Cold War movement with a full auto pistol, because the SYKOVs just move way too slow. Even a single SYKOV, it just doesn't have the movement there whatsoever. So the best way to run this gun is a single weapon. I will make a separate video talking about single pistols in another video, but the good thing about this gun is it does have a slightly cleaner iron sight than the SYKOV, so if you're running a single one, this is definitely the best gun to go for. So you want to remove that dual wheel attachment, you want to remove the agency suppressor, you want to go for the sound suppressor instead because it doesn't hurt your ADS time, and it also gives you the bonus to bullet velocity as well as sound suppression, and it also gives you a boost to sprint to fire speeds. Then you do want to go for a serpent wrap as well, and remove that 5mm laser because you don't really need to hip fire all that much with it, and add on the Tiger Team Spotlight for the faster movement. And we have done testing to show that the Tiger Team Spotlight actually helps with strafing speeds as well. So if you want to use this gun, this is the best build to use. The Task Force barrel, sound suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, 25 round mags, and the serpent wrap, and that is going to be the best overall build to run it in a single weapon. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and also click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. We do post extra gameplay content over there as well, and thank you very much for watching.